All right, family favorite, hot fudge pudding cake. It's an old Betty Crocker recipe, at least 60, 70 years old. I love it because you mix right in the cooking pan. It's an ungreased cooking pan. There's no separate bowl to wash, and it's so easy. Makes a hot fudge pudding in the bottom, cake on the top. You're going to end up scooping it out, serving it with ice cream. Anyway, heat your oven to 350. And then the first thing you put in this pan is a cup of flour. So here comes our cup of flour. Throw that in there. And then we're going to do 3/4 cup of sugar. Get our sugar, bring it closer. And we're going to do 3/4 cup of white sugar. Here's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 cup of sugar. And then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of cocoa. My favorite cocoa on the planet is Penzeys Dutch cocoa. Helps sometimes to just scrape it on the edge of the bag. Here I go. Scrape it on the edge of the bag, kind of level it off. 2 tablespoons of Dutch processed cocoa. There's 1. Let's do 2. Scrape it on the edge of the bag. Level it off. There we go. 2 of that. And then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Good old Clabber Girl. 2 teaspoons of that. Kind of level it off on the lip there. 2 teaspoons baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm videotaping one-handed. You're gonna have to pardon me for not measuring that too exactly. Here we go. Do my best. There we go. 1/4 teaspoon. Thereabouts. And I'm going to mix that a little bit because the next thing that's going in there is some milk. And it's just kind of nice to have some of these ingredients mixed up a little bit before pouring in the milk, especially the cocoa. And the milk, I happen to have non-fat in the house. Use whatever you've got, you know. And you're going to measure 1/2 cup of milk. Let me get that measure out here. I thought I had it out, but I was wrong. Okay, so we're going to do 1/2 cup of milk. And liquid measure, 1/2 cup, 1/2 cup of milk. Okay, and then we need 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Again, you have to bear with me on the measuring here. Here's 1. And it's vegetable oil. Here's 2. And a teaspoon of vanilla. And your vanilla is very expensive, so it is best to measure that. I happen to not have the vanilla extract. I just happen to have some Nice and Massey vanilla paste, and so I'm going to just pour that directly out of the jar. But again, when you have your vanilla extract, measure it. So I'm just going to pour some in there, call it good. You can add a cup of chopped nuts if your family likes those. Our family does not, so I'm not going to add those. And at this point, you mix what's in the pan Again, this is an ungreased 9 by 9 by 2 inch baking pan. If you don't happen to have one of those, a small casserole works, or a smaller Corningware dish works. But if you use glass, remember you've got to turn your oven down by 25 degrees. So if you're using glass, your oven would be at 325 instead of 350. If you have a convection oven, you would, hold on, I'm going to hold the pan so I can stir. Hold on, you would turn down your oven 25 degrees yet again. So since I have a convection oven, I am running my oven at 325. And then you're just mixing this stuff up in the pan. You got that milk in there, and you've got the oil in there. This is one of those no egg recipes. It's kind of fun to have a dessert that you can make if you've run out of eggs in the house. Because most of the time you got a little bit of milk and you got a little bit of oil. So you've mixed all the ingredients together. And here you can kind of see it. It looks messy, but you got to get all those dry ingredients mixed with the milk. I'm doing this one-handed without my husband, so he's not here to help me videotape. He's busy. We're putting a new roof on the house. A tree fell on the house, but I promised our daughter that I'd videotape this one for her because she wants to make it for Thanksgiving, and she lives across the country with her wonderful husband. So anyway, still mixing, almost there. Just getting a little bit of that dry ingredient out of the corner. So, I mean, as you look at it, it looks like a mess, right? You're like, oh my gosh, she mixed this in the pan. What you do now is you spread it around the pan. Just flatten it out. Here I go. Just kind of, see, I'm just spreading it out. Trying to hold the pan with my iPhone hand, so forgive me a little bit on that. And I think maybe should invest in one of those iPhone stands or something, huh? Okay, but hey, it wouldn't seem as realistic. All you out there in iPhone land and YouTube land who might watch this one day, grandchildren or whoever. Okay, well, okay, so now here I am. I spread it around the pan. See, it kind of looks like brownies, and hey, there's a little bit of powder that, you know, it didn't get quite mixed in with wet. Don't worry about it because it'll just cook in. Don't fret it. So it's all just spread around the pan now. There's a little bit on that spoon. You really do want to get it off so that, you know, hold on here. Want to get that extra off the spoon so that it cooks in the pan. Could go in your mouth too because there's no eggs in it, right? You won't get salmonella from it. So if you want to lick that spoon later, go ahead. Okay, so I'm licking my finger right now. Hold on. Okay, so now we're almost done. We got to put a cup of brown sugar. Here, I got to wash my finger off. Hold on. We're going to put on top of that a cup of brown sugar, and brown sugar gets measured by being smashed firmly in the cup. You got to smash it in there. You can use the side of the bag to smash it, right? Smash, smash in the cup. You got to smash, smash it in the cup. So you see, comes out, it is smashed in there. And you gotta sprinkle it. You gotta sprinkle it around the top. So here I go. Aiding myself here a little bit. Sorry about the fingers in the way of the camera lens. But here we go. You just sprinkle it around the top of the cake. That's a cup of brown sugar. There you go. See, sprinkled around top of the cake, right? Okay. Next, you also take a cup of that cocoa and sprinkle it around. Now, my 1/4 cup measure may be dirty. So, we're going to use a tablespoon. A tablespoon, 4 tablespoons is a 1/4 cup. So, if you happen to have a clean 1/4 cup measure, use that. If you don't, well, use a tablespoon. So, I'm taking that tablespoon, rubbing it on the side of the bag. Use 4 of those. You're sprinkling it around the top. Rightio. So there's 1. Count out loud so you don't mess up. 2. Okay. 3. And 4. There you go. Sprinkled it on top. Okay. Now, last thing is, sorry about that finger in the way. Last thing is, we're going to use 1 3/4 cup, liquid measuring cup, of your hottest tap water. So here we go. You're going to run your water. Get your hottest tap water. You could run that extra water over in your sink and get some things ready to wash, but you want that hottest tap water. Get all the way over to hot. Let the sink run just a minute there. Get your hottest tap water going on. Now, if you don't want to waste all that water, put some water in the microwave and maybe run it 30 seconds. You don't want it just smoking hot, but your hottest tap water. I'm filling the sink, getting ready to do some dishes. So 1 3/4 cup, your hottest tap water. I think that recipe being written, 70 years ago, they didn't have microwaves. And they didn't want to waste a whole lot of energy, boiling it on the stove because they didn't want, boiling water. They just wanted hottest tap water. So here you go. This is going to seem awful weird, but you're going to just pour this on top of the cake and put it in the oven for 40 minutes. And then you're going to take it out, let it rest about 15. And then you're going to cut it. And the cake part will be on the top. You'll put that cake part in a serving bowl, put some ice cream on it or whatever, and dip the sauce out of the bottom, put it on top of the ice cream, or sometimes we just eat it without the ice cream. So I just poured the water on the top of that thing, and it's going in the oven. And so I don't spill it. Got to be real careful walking that to the oven. There's still room in that pan, but let me open the oven so I don't spill. And here we go. Here she goes. There we go. And if I ever figure out how to work iMovie, I might actually show you the finished product. But this might be the end of the movie. We'll have to see. 40 minutes, remember, at 350. Enjoy yours. Bye.